This is The Civil Fleet, the podcast focused on the activist-led refugee rescue and support missions across Fortress Europe, with me, Ben Coles. In today's episode, we are speaking with Mustafa, Bairbre and Louise about the treatment of Sudanese refugees in Greece. Mustafa is going to tell us about the revolution and ongoing proxy war in Sudan. He's also going to tell us why he had to flee the country and the Kafkaesque situation he's found himself in after seeking asylum in Greece. Louise and Bairbre are going to tell us more about the situation for people on the move in Greece, how refugees, including children, are being criminalised and being sentenced for decades and sometimes hundreds of years in prison for allegedly steering a boat or driving a car across the border. It is insane. We'll also hear about the situation inside Greece's migrant detention camps and how the solidarity groups Mataris Sudan Solidarity Committee and 50 Out of Many are organising with criminalised and imprisoned Sudanese refugees. This is quite a unique episode, so enjoy. But before we get into any of that, I would just like to remind you that the Civil Fleet is not just a podcast, it's also a news blog with news reports, investigative stories and interviews and more. So go to civilfleet.com to check that out. Also, if you like what the Civil Fleet is doing and you want to help us out, you want to help us to continue to platform these amazing people that we have on this podcast, then there's a couple of things you can do. One, you can share us around on social media, you can tell your friends about us, you can post our stuff all over the place. Two, you can give us ratings on podcast apps. That would be really helpful. Giving us 5-star reviews will not only get more attention to this podcast, which would be great, but also bring more attention to the issues that we cover on here. So that would be really helpful. And the third thing you can do, if you have any money, it's Christmas, so, time of giving and all that, you can make a small donation to the Civil Fleet. You can help us keep the lights on, help us to cover our costs, which are admittedly low, but any help you can give us will be greatly appreciated. To give us money to make a small donation, you can go to ko-fi.com/civilfleet, and on there you can sign up to make a small one-off donation or a monthly donation or whatever you like. Okay, that is ko-fi.com/civilfleet. Okay, that is enough from me. Let's get on with the show. All right, so Bairbre, Louise and Mustafa, thank you very, very much for coming on the Civil Fleet podcast.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you for having us.
Welcome. And so today we are going to talk about Sudan. We're going to talk about Greece. We're going to talk about migrant and refugee, people on the move's rise in Greece and in Sudan and everywhere across Europe, I think. It's going to be quite a broad episode, I think. I don't think I've ever done an episode like this before, so this is going to be good. I'm really excited about this one. So at the beginning of the podcast, I like people to know a little bit about who they're hearing. So maybe, let's start with you, Mustafa. If you could just tell us a little bit about your background and where you are now, I guess.
I am Mustafa Ahmed. I am from Sudan, Khartoum. I was in Sudan like 5 years ago. And then I moved from Sudan to Turkey. Then I came to Athens, to Greece last year, like 1 year ago. In Sudan, I was part of resistance committee. That groups, they protest against al-Bashir regime in Sudan, 2019. Here, I'm part of a group called Mataris, also to support revolution in Sudan and refugee and migrant Sudanese refugee when they came from Libya, from Turkey, and also to raise money for emergency room in Sudan. I'm part of 50 Out of Many campaign. That campaign helped Sudanese refugee in prisons in Greece.
Yeah, because I hear, we'll talk about this later, but I hear the situation is really bad for Sudanese people in Greece, particularly people accused of piloting or, being smugglers because they touched the boat or something. But we'll talk about that later. Thank you, Mustafa. That's really good. How about you, Louise? Can you tell us a bit about your background?
I'm Louise. I live in Athens 7 years now. I'm from France. And I've been volunteering and working in different programs supporting refugees here in Athens. More specifically in housing programs the past years. I've been involved in different groups, and I'm also an artist. I make comic books, I do illustrations. So this is also something I use in our actions, but I can talk a bit more about it later. And I'm also part of 50 Out of Many and Mataris.
Ace, and you'll have to send us a link to your artwork so we can share that with the listeners. That would be really good. And then Bairbre, could you give us an introduction about yourself? Tell us how you ended up in Greece.
Yeah, I'm Bairbre. I'm from Ireland. I came over initially, I think in 2020, I did a radio documentary from Moria camp, and then I started volunteering in a cafe here. I've been involved in refugee solidarity campaigns in Ireland as well, Anti-Deportation Ireland about 12 years ago. Also worked in Calais refugee camp at one stage. And other various groups. And for the past few months, I've been working with 50 Out of Many and with Mustafa, Louise, Irene, and the people here.
Yeah, I think there's quite a lot of people involved, is there, in 50 Out of Many, Bairbre? Is that right? Like, 50, is there a lot of, is it quite a big group, Mataris and 50 Out of Many? They're kind of linked, are they?
They're kind of linked because a lot of members are in both, and obviously I completely support Mataris. It's just time issues in terms of organising that can't be involved with everything. They're not huge groups, no. I mean, we have a lot of people on, who support it and who come, say, to things at the trials, who fundraise, who help. But it's a smallish group. I think it can be bigger. It will get bigger, I think.
Excellent. Well, hopefully this podcast will draw some attention to it, get other people involved, people across Europe and the world. Hopefully we'll start getting interested in the situation there. So I think we'll talk about 50 Out of Many and is it Mataris or Mataris? How am I saying it right, Louise?
Mataris.
Mustafa will know how to pronounce it properly in Arabic.
I thought it was a Greek word. Is it Mustafa? What does it mean?
No, it could be a Greek word, though. It sounds like a Greek word, but it's Arabic.
Yeah, it's Arabic word. It means barricades.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And we use it in Sudan during the revolution when the police attack us. We use the barricades in the street.
So that's a good point, actually. So before we talk about Mataris and we talk about 50 Out of Many and the situation in Greece, maybe Mustafa, you could tell us like a brief. We don't need to go into a lot of detail, but give us kind of a brief. It was a while ago now, the uprising in Sudan, wasn't it? I think it was 2018. And can you lived through it? Can you tell us your experience of the whole thing?
Yeah, it was actual 2018. The Bashir regime government, he's like 30 years staying to rule the country, and many things happened. We lost south of Sudan. The conflict started in Darfur 2003. There is injustice for all the Sudanese. They didn't there's no human rights. So people they feel now is enough. 2013 we started like a small protest, but they killed many people, and the people they afraid. Then 2018, and 13 of December. Some students, they start in city called El Damazin, elementary student actual, they inspire all the Sudanese. They start to make protest against the government policy. They raise the price of the bread, and then they just they make protest 2 hours. Then after 5 days or 6 days, people in Bairbre, this is city for the workers, they made big protest, and also they inspired the people in Khartoum. Then 25 of December, it was really big. in 25 of December, it called by a professional association. This organization, it was no one know about them, but they suddenly they publish posts on Facebook platform, and then because they have a problem with the people, they have a problem with the parties, they don't trust one, but they saw those strangers we can trust them because we don't know them. And they called for demonstration in front of the center of Khartoum, 25 of December, and then 2,000 persons, they came to this protest. And then after that, they call in January, 7th of January, 15th of January, and going on. Then the people, the youth actual in neighborhood, they start to organize themselves and to make the revolution in the neighbor, not in the center, to make difficult for the police to control the protest. And we success for that, and organize most of the neighbor in Khartoum and another city also. And we call for the demo, and then we have support from the families because we are the part of the neighbor. For 4 months, we work. We use all the tools for peaceful revolution: hunger strike, demonstration, all the protest, all the tools we use it, but peacefully. Then in April, we made the big protest, like million of the Sudanese. They make sit-in for 2 months in Khartoum. And then 5 days, just Bashir fall down. 11 days, Bashir fall down, and then this is continue. After that, the regime army start to break down this sit-in, but we come again just 30 days. They killed many people in that time, and they cut on internet and everything. But without internet, without contact with each other, we go back again, and then we success in the first to make agreement.
Yeah, I remember the pictures, and I remember I work at a newspaper also that's separate from this podcast, but I remember covering it there. I remember seeing the pictures of people out in the square. It was amazing to see. But then, it kind of you got Bashir. I forgot his name. The dictator, Omar Bashir. Yeah, Bashir. He was deposed.
Yeah.
He eventually he left the country, right? He wasn't killed. He just left.
No. He's staying now. Still.
He's still there. Yeah. And you had a transitional government. So I don't know if you could explain what happened there. And now we have a war.
Yeah. Actually, the agreement, it was between the authorities and the army and RSF. RSF and army, they be one part, and the civilian the another part. The agreement is said we have to make civil government for 4 years, but the first 2 years, the leading of the country, it will be with the army. And then the next 2 years, it will be with civilian. 2019, they started, and then the resistance committee support the civil government because they're going well, and we trust them that time. And we have also another choice because we are groups, but we are not have goals to have political to be minister of. We haven't leader actual in resistance committee, so we have to support parties because they want to lead the country. We support them, and it was really good government. But after 2 years, the RSF and army, they make a coup against the civilian. And we go back again to the street to organize ourselves to make a protest against and they arrest all the party's leader in that time.
And then I think in 2023, is it 2023 where the Rapid Support Forces, militia, and the army, they started fighting each other, right? And we have a civil war.
Yeah. 2021, after 2 years, they make a coup, and then we had protest and again revolution. Then 2023 in April, 15th of April, they start to, because the international community, they start to force them to make agreement again with the civilian. And that agreement, she said, we have to make one army. There is no RSF, there is no, just it have one Sudanese army. And they don't accept that, most of them, because most of them, they want the leaders like Al Burhan and Hemeti, they want to lead the country. And actually, one of the reasons I realize that these days, they're afraid from this power of the resistance committee, because in that time, those people, they really got trust from the resistance committee got trust from the people, and they organize ourselves so well, we make political charter to explain ourselves what we want, how we need the Sudan it will be in the future. So because that we believe this is war, it's counter-revolutionary war against the revolution in Sudan. Yeah.
Mm. And then this war has been really terrible, right? I think something like 30 million people have been forced to flee or been they've been uprooted from their homes. That's so many people, 30 million, it's crazy. Yeah. And when did you leave, Mustafa? What made you leave Sudan?
I leave 2020, end of the 2020, like 21. I left Sudan.
Can you say why? Or it's okay if you don't want to say why.
Yeah. I can share it. Actually, that time because I'm part of resistance committee, and I have a lot of effort to do in that time. I was work a lot, and then that made me I lost my work and everything, and I see the process is going well, and I need another people to do the same what I do. So I say I have to take rest for 6 months or 7 months, and then I left. Then after that, the army, they make a coup. Yeah, and I have to be outside, and I be officially spokesperson for the resistance committee of Khartoum from outside during the coup.
Wow. So it's not safe for you to go back, right? This is not a safe time to go back, right?
Yeah.
And then, we've had I think 30 million people have been uprooted by the war. The war has been really brutal. I think there has been a recent raid by the RSF, atrocities committed in Al Fraser, if I'm saying that right. It's been really awful. And Europe hasn't exactly been very welcoming to people. Maybe we could, I don't know, maybe Louise or Bairbre, you could tell us a bit about the situation in Greece for migrants kind of in general. We've had a few episodes about the situation in Greece on this podcast. Not for a while, but I know it's really bad. Maybe Louise, you could start and tell us kind of what's the situation like for people on the move in Greece.
Okay, it's bad, as you said, definitely. It's not only bad, is that people are completely stuck. We mostly support people that are being criminalized, and they are being criminalized for migrating and for trying to reach Europe. So I guess we'll explain a bit more the trials later, but they face very long sentences that are absolutely insane, and they are treated as criminals when most of them actually saved life by eventually supporting driving the boats. And the thing is that in Greece, at least, there is very little support from the state. So, for example, housing is non-existent. In general, this is an issue in Greece, the lack of social housing on a bigger scale, not only for refugees and migrants. But you can imagine that for refugees and migrants, it's even worse. So the only housing option are the camps, which I don't really consider as housing. So yeah, people get criminalized. They don't get really support from the state for housing, for their papers, for work, for health, for anything. And yeah, it's also difficult for them to actually get recognized as refugees. And when they are recognized as refugees, they face new challenges, because most of the time, once they get recognized, they also have to leave the camps, leave the housing that they eventually got from the state. So the support is very, very little. And when there is, it's very short term. Yeah, this as a first general picture. I don't know if you want to add something, Bairbre.
No, that pretty much sums it up. It's pretty bad. There's also a lot of people being sent back now. It started a while ago, but it's getting more people being sent back from Germany and other countries. Yeah, it's just people. You couldn't believe how badly people are being treated here. It really is shocking. I think it's part of a worldwide trend, because in Ireland we've also just this week passed new legislation where you can't bring over your family members unless you're earning like 50,000 euros. Like what care worker earns 50,000 euros? So I mean, it's not just Greece. Ireland and England and all these other countries are doing it in other ways. I think because Greece is one of those frontline countries, it's more obvious, but like obviously the other Northern European countries are doing it in a more kind of sneaky way and more bureaucratic way, and bringing in these like class ways to discriminate against people. But yeah, in Greece it's just much more obvious. I mean, the racism is just much more obvious. The isolation of people. I mean, camps are Malakasa camp. It's you have to pay to get on the train. It's 40 minutes out. You if you're in Malakasa, there's no organisations allowed into the camp anymore. There's one fantastic group working. They have a community centre beside the camp called Sama, and they put on things, and they have some support for people and a place just for people to meet. But you're 40 minutes from Athens at least. This is one of the closer camps. They're miles away. People are completely isolated. This is not the people who are in prisons now. I'm just talking about like just families and single men who come over. This is not the camps are a form of prison as well. It's a prison system. They're leaning more towards closed camps as well on many of the islands and in Greece. They're also building another 6 prisons, which I don't know, like they're kind of like moving away even from the closed camps, which are bad enough. Now they're like even going towards a more incarceration system. So refugees that are accused of so-called smuggling, steering a boat, or just picked at random by Coast Guard, who knows. They're building 6 new prisons to deal with the extra numbers that they're going to have. And they also have an element of these prisons that are labour camps. So they're using basically slave labour in camps all over Greece. So there's a money aspect to it as well, always in these things. It's like the double thing of this pretend thing, or like the war on drugs, this war on migration. So they close off the borders, they punish people, they criminalise them. But then they also they're trying to figure out a way to make money from people, and from also, I mean, obviously they've all these contracts and stuff going on as well, but the labour camps are also kind of a very worrying development, which has been going on for a while, but is going to intensify in the next few years. So using people seeking refuge as free labour, basically.
Yeah, it's a very, very grim picture, isn't it? I remember Moria camp quite a long time ago. Like, that was a big scandal around there, and I think they moved the camp, but they moved it like to somewhere where they tested weapons or something. It was like really crazy situation, an awful situation in Greece. And for anyone listening, if they don't know about the Dublin Agreement, which is the agreement that sends people from Northern Europe to the South, I'll have a link to that for people listening, so you can read more about that. And we just, episode 83 of the Civil Fleet podcast, we talked about the UK and the UK and France's deal to push people back and forth. So if you want to know more about that, you should listen to that one. Mustafa, what's your experience been like in Greece? Can you talk about that? Like, when did you arrive, and were you put in a camp, or what was it like for you in Greece initially?
Yeah, I was in the camp in Athens. It's called Rexona camp. I realized from the first day that most of the camps is far away than the city. There is no transportation. So they put the camp to isolation people, to put them in far away, just close to factory, like to work. They need worker, not refugee, not migrants. So you can walk for any factory to work, but you cannot find bus station to come to city or close city to you. From the first week, I have two fights with officer there for rights, like small rights. So that made me, because when I was in Turkey, I didn't make a lot of political, because the situation there is so complicated. So this is make me to go to back to what I did in Sudan, to go to my line. Actually, that's what I like. And in last April, we start to make some event. We make event to talk about the revolution in Sudan. And then after that, we establish WhatsApp group for the Sudanese community here, or the refugees. They came new to Athens, so we can help each other. In that group, we start like with 40 people. Now we have like more than 900 person in different camps in Greece. And we use this WhatsApp group to like help each other with organization, address, with needs, with information, sometimes legal support, because we have a lawyer in the group, so she gives legal support for the people there. It will be like community for us. Then after that, like 1 month, we had about the 50 boys in prison in Athens. So we start with some collective groups here in Greece, like Solidarity with Migrants, Pushbacks, Alma Space, Gather for Gaza, Borderless. We make a meeting to try to find ways how we can help people here. So after that, we involved in the campaign of 50 out of many.
Okay, so yeah, like that's. Let's talk about 50 out of many. That sounds like a good junction. I think Bairbre and Mustafa, are you both involved in 50 out of many?
Hi, Louise. Yes, all of us.
All of us, excellent.
Yes.
So I don't know, maybe Bairbre, you could tell us about 50 out of many and then why it was set up. And I think Mustafa kind of outlined why, but yeah, you could tell us a bit more about it.
I think, well, initially we'd started doing meetings. It was like until everyone is free back in April with the Irini. There's a woman here in Athens, and she's amazing. She's works with Alma Community Centre, and herself and Mustafa really were the start of 50 out of many in June. Irini and another girl, Lucia, went over to one of the trials in Crete and witnessed what was happening. I'm not sure, Mustafa, did you go to that first one in June as well? You went as well at the first one in June? Yeah. Okay, sorry, yeah. So, I mean, Mustafa will tell you more then as well how they saw how the trials were operating. And then I came on more when I came back from Ireland after the summer. And I think actually, Mustafa, you know better how it started. So the thing with the plea deals and how they were bullying people into taking them. I think that was a big motivator in how then we tried to come and monitor the trials. Since then, there's more and more people coming, and we can talk about this later, how we're putting a call out for next week for even more people to come over and be a presence outside the court. But yeah, I think, Mustafa, in June when you first went over with Irini, I think you were fairly shocked at how the courts were operating and how the people were being treated.
Even it's not like Sudan. In Sudan, it's better. Really, any country in Africa, I think it's better. The justice, what I see, and until now, what I see, this is not justice, and justice really. Like the first trial I went there, they haven't official interpreter. They bring someone with handcuffs from the prison to translate for the boys there. The court, it takes like just 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 9 minutes, and they charge with 10, 15, 25 years. And in that day, it was like 16 person, like 7 or 6 cases. But the first 3 cases, it was Greek case. The first case, it take 26 minutes for the lawyers and the argument they do there. And just because the guy, he steal the T-shirt. But for the migrants and refugees, just 6 minutes, and they charge them 10 years. So it's like the systemic criminalization of refugee in Crete, actually, I would say, like directly, not just in Greece, but in Crete especially. They have the systemic criminalization of migrants. After that, I went, actually, yesterday I wasn't working. I came this morning, and the judge there, they give one of the prisoners 1,350 years in prison.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. It was like this every time. It's like this, and in the first trial, what I see that if you haven't lawyer, the government, they will give you a state lawyer, actually, and the state lawyer, he met you inside the trial, like just during the trial, and he know your name and check your file and this like this, and he offer you just one thing because he haven't time to defend of you. He just he offer you to make a plea deal, to agreement with the government, with the court, without to explain what means a plea deal. And people, they don't understand what means plea deal. Just you told them this is better because you are guilty. The lawyers, they behave like judge, not lawyers. And I have a fight with them in that trial. The boys, they accept this because the problem when they came, they got arrested and stay in the prison like 6 months. They have an idea of the Europe human rights, so they trust people here. They saw lawyers. Okay, he's European lawyer. I'm sure he will take care of me, but he don't know what happening here. The plea deal, he's if you sign for this. They didn't tell you will not make an appeal, you will not apply for asylum. You said, I'm guilty, I'm a smuggler, I took money from the people to bring them here. So just the explain for them, if you say I'm guilty, you will give you like less charge. And less charge what means? Like 10 years lucky. It means like you will stay 3 years and a half. And if you work in the agriculture prison, you will, after 2 years, you will go out. But actually, this is also another injustice and against human rights, because they use them as a worker to work in Crete. And we know, all of us, the olive oil, the best coming from Crete. They use those prisoners to work there as a slave. I will not say as a worker, no, as a slave, because if you work there without money, they give them just 50 euro per month to work in agriculture. So they need worker without money.
It's a similar. That's what happened in the US, right? When they abolished slavery, they then criminalized people for being black, and they put them in a prison and put them to work. That's absolutely insane. It's crazy. I didn't know about the working camps, the agricultural camps. I heard that's.
They're building one called Megapolis, a new one outside Athens. It's going to have thousands of places. Like they're aiming to have 6,800 new places in the next 5 years.
Fucking hell, I keep swearing. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right to swear. Fuck it. It's disgraceful. Like it's this is all from the EU. This is all part of the EU policy that's being implemented.
That is why it's so awful. And I heard about people getting really long sentences in Greece. I had somebody on this podcast before. I think they were from Ethiopia, but I can't remember now. But I have a link to it, and they were in prison for 250 years or something like that, because they had a situation. They were forced to plead guilty, and then 250 years is just like a wild sentence to give someone.
Somebody got 250 years. Irene was over. Was it last week? Was it last Monday? A minor, a child got hundreds of years because they wouldn't accept. This is the other thing now. They're going. There's a list of minors that we've gotten that they won't accept. The police say that their birthdays are a certain date. They just make it up, and then they have this age examination, which has been proven not to work. There is loads of experts and organisations. There's been loads of reports written on this that the age estimation. I don't know what the word is. Is not accurate. I mean, you can't go on just that, and they're using it in the courts. There was a minor that was given a couple of 100 years because the judge would not, and they had a birth cert, and the judge would not accept it. It's all at the discrimination of a judge. If you get one nice judge, okay, maybe. So there was 2 people in Hanya that got off. When was that? Was that 2 weeks ago? It was, I think, 2 weeks ago. Okay, the judge was a little bit better, and he listened to some of the evidence, and he took some things in mind, and 2 people got off. And we were celebrating, and we thought this is great, and maybe this is a sign that things were going to change. And then the next week, another judge comes in, and I know you've been cursing, and I don't want to curse about this, but some of these judges have no heart and are complete psychopaths. And she wouldn't even listen to any of the evidence. Not even. I think there was a comment even when one of the lawyers, because the lawyers are arguing, even some of the state lawyers, to be fair to them, they have improved in the last few months, maybe from working with some of the lawyers that were hired by the organisations and also from listening to the people. But they have started to argue sometimes in the court about the situation in Libya and the situation in Sudan, and how this is the reason why people come. And this judge said, why should I care about this?
That's bad.
They also ask once, like, I don't remember which judge, but ask, like, why don't they stay in Libya and work there? Like, this is a sustainable option, you know? They have these ridiculous questions, like, why didn't you come through the legal route? When there is no legal route, you know? It's all of these cycles again and again. And I also wanted to say, because I think this is an important thing, like, that we don't actually know how many of them are in jail. You know, it's kind of difficult to know the exact number because there is no, register with all of their names. And we started as 50 out of many because we knew about 50 boys in jails. And this was early summer, like around June. And now there are at least 300, and there might be more. This number might be already outdated. And from these 300, 200 of them are in Chania, in Crete, in the jail of Chania. I mean, only like Sudanese boys. And I think this is very worrying. And, this increase in such a short time is showing how things will, move in the future. And with this new, anti-migration laws that they passed in September in Greece, I think things are very, very worrying.
Yeah, really worried. That's really crazy. There doesn't seem to be any signs of it getting better, right? Like, I was looking at your Mataris' social media, and there's just lots of cases of people being sentenced to ridiculous years that you've been posting on your Instagram feed. It just awful. I'm lost for words. Like, I can't believe how bad that is. And I don't think it's very, very underreported, particularly in the UK. I don't know about in France or in Ireland, but it's very underreported, that.
It is, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. In Italy and Spain, the same.
Everywhere. Yes.
Yeah.
Tenerife, awful.
Yeah.
But Mustafa, when you made it to Greece, you must, I don't know how you felt at that time, but did you expect to be in another situation? Like, you just had to flee one bad situation and you found yourself in another bad situation. How did that must have felt kind of surreal, I suppose. I don't know, how did it feel?
No, I have to be here. I will not leave. This is the important place for me to do something, have value for myself. People here, I need myself, yes, and people, they need someone to talk what's happening here. I cannot be silent for what's happening here. And also, I have to work a lot about to stop this war in Sudan and to make awareness about the revolution, to let people to talk about Sudan and what's happening in Sudan. Like I would not say this forgotten war. No, it's ignoring war. They want to ignore the war there, and they feel like, okay, Sudan are far away, and no, they involved in this, and this is war is not civil war. It's proxy war. Like there's many countries they involve in this directly and indirect. In the past, RSF, when they start 2003, they start al-Bashir. He used them to fight the African tribes in Darfur. But after that, like they got money from EU to protect the borders there. So how they be bigger from 300 just soldier, and now like more than 200,000 soldier, and they have a lot of weapons, and they have support from UAE, and they have support, and there are many countries involved in this. Russian, they play two cards with RSF and with SAF. Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Turkey, Qatar. So how will it be civil war? Leave them, leave us. If they leave us, okay. After that, we can say this is civil war, but not like that. So I have to work a lot political for this and show this picture clearly now. And here, yes, it's difficult, but I was part of the resistance committee, and we got on the street against like real dictatorship, like just peacefully, and we say just we just use our mouth and to against him, and he used guns. And we don't afraid. So for me, yes, it's a challenge to be here and to work with my people.
Yeah, well said. Like, it is a proxy war, right? And I've referred to it as a civil war, but I should stop doing that. It's a proxy war. I was reading about it just like before our call, actually, all the different groups involved. And there's a really good report that I'm going to link to called Border Control from Hell by Suleiman Baldo. Well, I don't know who that is, but the report is very interesting, and it talks about the EU's involvement in funding the RSF before the proxy war started and the revolution. Barbara, you wanted to say something?
Sorry, I just wanted to say before I forget about Mustafa said earlier about it being a counter-revolutionary war. I just think that that's kind of the crux of it, and why so many countries are so invested. So I think this is, I don't know if you could explain that or talk about that a little bit more, because I think that's very interesting, and a lot of Sudanese people have said this. It's a counter-revolutionary war because of the revolution was successful in Sudan, so now all these countries are crushing it in this way.
Yeah, firstly the army there, they're afraid from this power for the subcommittee, and the neighbor like Egypt. Egypt, the first one, they don't want any civilian government there. No, they need this army, because if we succeed there, it will be in Egypt the same, because there is a dictatorship there also. So they don't want this, and they also all the time they trying to help the army and how to behave against the revolution. And we know that because Sisi, he did that in the past in Egyptian revolution. So when they try it in Sudan to do that, we know what the plan. So we try to be against that from the first, because we know from where he took the experience. So they don't want this. They don't want, and also Emirates, if there's civilian government, how they can find army? They use RSF to fight in Yemen. They use it to fight in Libya. They have army they give him money and they can use it. But this is one of the demands of December Revolution. We don't want our army to be like a militia to work outside or with money. So also they don't want any civilian government to be there. They like this because that the war can continue. Because this is good for them. They can install the gold, they can install the minerals, they can do what they want. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really sad, and it's awful to have this geopolitics affecting your life. It's really terrible. And I haven't really done an episode this broad before where we talk about war in one country and then people, how they're being treated in another. I feel like there's so much we could talk about, and we can keep talking for a very long time. I'm really interested in what you all have to say. But in the interest of time, we should press on. But I really enjoyed this conversation. So let's talk about the situation in Greece. I think Mataris, one day I'll get it correct. Mataris, you are planning an action on December the 19th. Maybe Louise or Mustafa, you can tell us about this action that's going to take place.
Okay, so we plan to organize an event on the 19th of December, if this is the event you're referring to, because there are many events happening at the same time. But as Mataris, we are planning some event on the 19th of December, which is the date, like the anniversary date of the revolution in Sudan. So we want to make this nice big event in Athens to talk about Sudan, to talk about what happened during the revolution, and to connect still groups and people as we already do here. Because that's the two main goals of Mataris, basically. One is to raise awareness about what's going on, mostly about the revolution, and the second goal is to support Sudanese refugees in Athens and in Greece more broadly. This is what we plan. So it will probably be some kind of screening, and then music and food. We want it to be very, joyful, and to be very open to different groups and different individuals, so everyone can come and learn about what's going on. And yes, we also try to connect struggles. So there's also this group in the space that we will have the event that wants to talk about Congo. And I think it's also very important to connect everything because it is connected.
And I guess there'll be more information on your social media, which I'll link to as well. For anyone in Athens or in Greece, they can check it out as well.
For sure, yes.
And I this is something we should have brought up earlier, but you refer to it as a revolution in this interview, but I'd never hear about that. It's never referred to as a revolution in British media. I know that. Was there a particular, Mustafa, political bent to it? Was it kind of, we just want a civilian government, or was there more to it? I don't know if there was socialist or anarchist. I don't know what kind of revolution was it?
It's peacefully actual, and it's coming from the people on the ground. They feel now is enough for the al-Bashir government. They don't trust him. They broke the country actually, and he did a lot of things. It's bad for the country and for the behavior and for the racism between each other. So it was not, but because it was between the resolution committee in the ground and the parties, they have the political way. And actually, one of the reasons also the parties, because they are not in the same political line. Some of them, they needed liberal government, and some they needed social government. So this is also make some problem between them after Bashir fall down. But the people, they don't want the army to lead the country. This is the main problem since the independency. The army all the time he just controlled the country, coups and then revolution, it's going like this. and he destroyed the country, and they make political, and they have not to do political in Sudan. Just they have to save the Sudan from the foreigner attack, but they do political, and this is the main problem. The people, they say it enough for them.
I did. Yeah, because it's surprising that we never referred to it as a revolution, but it clearly was. Right, when you see the pictures, it was a people coming together to topple a government. It was the picture behind you, which the listeners can't see, but we can see, is amazing.
They did the same thing with the Syrian revolution. They called it a civil war continuously in the media. And it was a revolution, and it's an old trick.
Even the international community, they don't like revolution. Not just neighbor. Yes, not neighbor. So they don't show this. They don't want people to inspire from them. So it's good happening in Sudan. It's war for them is better.
And it's probably good business. I don't know who's selling weapons to the sides, but I imagine the UK is involved in there somewhere. But I don't know.
Right.
And Bairbre, you, I think you mentioned earlier that 50 out of many, you have something happening next week, which might have already happened by the time this episode comes out, but maybe I can push it out before. What's this event that you're...
What's this event that on the 17th, we're asking people, organisations, individuals to come to Chania and Crete, if they can, obviously if they're in Greece, to show solidarity at the court. There's a lot of cases up on the 17th. I mean, there's cases every week, but on the 17th, it would be really nice if people can come and show their solidarity and to show their disgust at what's happening. I mean, we can't protest, obviously, inside the court. We're very good and quiet. But if people can come outside the courts, that would be great. Yeah, to show that they care. And to see for themselves, because it really is eye-opening. Sorry, Ben, to cut across you, but it really is something you would not believe how shite it is. Like, really, it is just. I've seen a lot of different courts over the years in different kinds of situations, but this is like these young people. They're handcuffed to each other in the court. They're sitting there for, I don't know, from 9 to 4 or whatever. They don't give them a drink of water. They're not allowed on their phones. So they're just sitting there. They obviously don't speak Greek. There's, like Mustafa was saying, the interpretation is often done by somebody who's not a Sudanese speaker. So even the Arabic is not the proper dialect. And even the parts that are explained to them, you don't know what's going on. Even as a white person sitting there, it's very intimidating. And like, there's always about 15 guards with guns on their sides. I mean, I don't understand what the need is. I had a look in the other courts, and for actual criminals, they don't even have these guards, so many guards in there with policemen with the guns. So it's all designed to intimidate people and to make them feel like they're criminals. And we have to kind of go along with it as if it's actually something to, like it's a legitimate court. It's a kangaroo court. These are sham courts, kangaroo courts that are not even sticking to their own rules. So even if the law is unjust, but even how they're implementing is the procedural law is completely, they're not having proper translation. Like Mustafa says, they don't get to talk to their lawyers for very long. There's no, they're effectively being held pre-trial, like with no information being given to them. In prisons, they're not taking into account that there's lots of minors. There's all these other, like, the small things apart from like the major law is actually unjust in itself. Just if people can come on the 17th just to see them for themselves and really to believe how awful it is.
Yeah, it's terrible. Like, it's not just happening to Sudanese people, right? Like, I think it's to any people on the move. Like, they're being.
A lot of people from Egypt, and I mean, we know, like Mustafa says, that there's a military dictatorship in Egypt. It's not a safe country. A lot of Europeans think Egypt's safe because they go on holiday and they see the pyramids and they come back and everything's great. Egypt is beautiful if you're a tourist. But I mean, I was there in June as part of the March to Gaza initiative, and like they have undercover Baltoia that are hired goons that come and beat you up. If there's more than 7 people in one place with a flag, that's a political meeting and you can be put in prison. They have a whole underground system like Sedanaya in Syria where they're torturing people, and people are terrified to speak out, and they are very pro-Palestine and don't want their government being this military dictatorship that has been put in there by the US. I mean, a lot of these things you can trace them back. They're going to have roots in Russia or America or the UAE or all these big countries. They're operating through, like Mustafa said, like proxies. And Egypt is not a safe country, and these kids are coming over from Egypt and they're saying that it's a safe country and it's not a safe country, basically. That's all.
Yeah, that's true. And like we have on the podcast, we have a lot of the rescue ships in the podcast. And they won't send people to Egypt. I don't even think that's it's not even a consideration because they're not near it. But like they won't send people to Tunisia. They won't go to take people back to Libya, obviously, because it's not a particularly safe place, right? And unfortunately, Europe's becoming a very unsafe place for people on the move as well, right? You're going to get locked up. And this slave labour thing we've been talking about, I can't believe that's happening.
I would say there's a lot of groups organising. I feel like there's a double thing as it's becoming more obvious what we're up against. I feel like there's a lot of groups and a lot of individuals and a lot of people seeing what borders are and how they are used to criminalise people and how borders are used to keep the northern countries have like more power. So I think it's becoming. I think it's not just like we're fighting for our Sudanese brothers and sisters and our Egyptian brothers and sisters, but this is for us too, because they treat us also like they don't respect us. They don't care about their own people. This is all our struggle, and we can see from the criminalisation of people who do support solidarity campaigns, but also just everyone is affected by this. It's not a way to live, like we all have to be free of this. This is not a system that we can allow to have in our countries. Like, there's not a way for us to be living. We're not free when we're not all free. This is the point.
Yeah, and I think it could easily get turned against us, right? Like, we might think we're safe, like particularly if we're in Northern European country, we might think that this isn't going to affect us, but it could easily at some point be turned against us, I think. So I'm really, like I just said before, I really enjoyed this conversation, but I think we need to move towards the end here. So I've got like my final questions, but before I move on to that, I just wondered if maybe we'll go around. We'll start maybe with Louise. And was there anything that I should have asked you that I haven't asked you? Was there something that you wanted to talk about in this podcast that I didn't mention or that you think is relevant? We don't have to start with Louise. Anyone, like if there's anything else you wanted to say before I move to my last question.
I could add 2 things. One thing that I was thinking about, like when we're discussing, is the fact that myself, I didn't know much about Sudan since recently, to be honest. And this is also why I wanted to be involved in Mataris, because I thought, okay, I also want to be educated about that, and there's something going on. And okay, the more we discuss with Mustafa and other persons from Sudan, we also get to learn a lot from the revolution and from the resistance committee Mustafa was telling you about. And I think we have a lot of things to learn from them, and a lot of tools we can use also in our own actions and groups. This is something I wanted to add earlier. And another thing I wanted to talk about is maybe this extra action we have, the Drawing for Justice, because this is a nice way people can get involved as well. And as an artist myself, I draw during the trials. I make drawings of the trials because, as you know, we cannot take pictures or videos inside of it. So this is a way to make it visible, to create images about it and to share it online. And I just want to make like an open call here to anyone who wants to go to the trials. Obviously, just observe and see what's going on, but they can also make drawings, artworks, or anything to just make it more visible, because I think this is the first step to make the situation more known. And this would be a great help also to fundraise and support, with the legal expenses and just in general to push for more accountability.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think it would be really good for more people to go and check out these trials and for it to be more known. Maybe in the new year I can try and get myself out there. We'll see how it goes.
Yes.
How about you, Barbara? Was there anything else you wanted to add? Anything I didn't ask that I should have asked?
I just second what Louise said. Yeah, that if you're an artist at all, get in contact over the Drawing for Justice. That's a really brilliant. It's gone to Berlin, somewhere in Switzerland, I think. I'm not sure of the countries. Anyway, it's gone to various countries and in Athens here. And just to keep going, I think anyone who's listening to this, just who's involved, I know it seems like we're up against a huge thing, a fight, and it's true, but I think there's a lot of ways we can work together, and we just keep going. I think it's just don't give up, and that's my hope, that we just keep working together, all the groups. I do think there's so many people as well that are angry and sad at how the situation is, and they just maybe don't know how to fight it or what to do or what to, so just start local, get involved in any of your local groups, whatever country you're in. Get involved in a local group, or with a few of your friends. It doesn't have to be a proper group. You can set up something yourself and just start doing things, and and then just keep going with it. And I also, what Louise said about learning from our comrades in other countries. I think I personally have been very inspired by Mustafa and all the Sudanese people I met, and over the years the Syrian revolutionaries and Egyptian, and just keep learning from our comrades in these countries too.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. It's really, really good answer. How about you, Mustafa? Was there anything I should have asked you? Anything you wanted to talk about that we didn't speak about?
Yeah, I have to send a message for some people or organization. I see they have to do action. I will start from the not important to important. Firstly, EU. Why they didn't visit the prisons to see the human rights there, and also to talk about Geneva law, because this is what happened here in Greece again with the refugees, and we know the refugees, when they fled the war in their country and then they try to come to find a safe. You cannot criminalisation them. So this is again the law. So EU blind, and he didn't see what's happening here. Also, the organization NGOs, they have to visit the prisons and to report, because there is many things there. 3 months ago, 7 boys, they make hunger strike because 3 months they didn't give them soap, shower gel to wash themselves, to change the underwear. They arrest him 6 months without without clothes, just the same clothes. So this is inhuman. Also, there's no organization work after the people, the boys, if they got released. We have more than 12 boys they got released, but no one helped them to involve in the system, to apply for asylum. I will just share one story. One day, they 4 months ago, when he got released, he's minor, 17, in Khania, in Crete Island, far away in Athens, 14 hours, without phone, without nothing. Just he found people randomly to help him to come to Athens. So this is one example. So we need some NGOs, they work for this, helping for after we got released. The last things for the people, they have to talk, they have to raise their voice, they don't be silenced. Okay, now the war in Sudan, 2 years and going to 3 years, no one talk. At least talk about the injustice and criminalization of refugees and migrants. This is in your hand. If you didn't see it, you have to see it.
Yeah, and I think as a journalist myself, I know the media needs to do a better job of covering Sudan. I think it's often in the media when something terrible like the Al Fraser atrocities happened. Fascia, yeah. I can't even say it right. So like this what it shows the problem, right? But yeah, the media definitely needs to step up there. So yeah, thanks everyone. That's been such a really good conversation. My last final question, and then we'll bring this to an end, is I ask everybody on the podcast, how do you feel about the future, particularly for people on the move in Europe? And I really like it when I get some optimism. So if you could say something optimistic, that would be really cool.
Okay. That's not the easiest thing. No, okay, yeah. I'm not very hopeful for the future, but let's say that I think what we do now is very important, and creating groups and solidarity groups, creating communities that know how to work together, how to trust each other, and I think we can have an impact, even if we won't change, the laws of Europe or have an international impact. I think even if we can support one person here, in jail, it's already something. We can actually change someone's life. So, yes, I really believe in these communities we create, and I think they can grow, they can multiply. And yeah, that's very beautiful to see, especially because it's so many people from different backgrounds and countries and ages, and it gives me hope.
Me too. That was a nice answer, Louise. I don't know, Bairbre, you have anything to add about the future?
Yeah, we don't have any choice. We just have to have hope. Like, it's not a choice. I don't even feel it's like a feeling. It's like hope is a verb. It's an action. It's a thing we do. And so if hope is a thing we do, it's a thing we do from love and from empathy, and because it's the right thing to do, and because we have vision. And you never know when there's magic. You never know when things can shift. You never know when there's a tipping point in people's consciousness. And all these laws are just an outward manifestation of the racism and the consciousness that's coming from centuries of history. And this can change, and I do have hope. It's an action, it's a thing we do. So yes, I have hope.
That reminds me of something David Graeber said along the lines of everything's basically in our head and we can change stuff, right? We have the ability to change. We don't have to live the way that we are. David Graeber said it so beautifully, but I can't remember the quote off the top of my head. Mustafa, I'll give you the final word here. How are you feeling about the future, and are you optimistic?
I am not feel that like everything it will go well, but we have to try and we have to work on. We cannot stop. We continue, and we are the solidarity is not just help people in Greece, and it helped most of the people in the world. Like solidarity is really the way of life to feel with each other, to support each other. For me, I hope the war in Sudan to finish. In Sudan, we have free Sudan and free Palestine and free Congo. Free Europe from the dictatorship and from the fascist here. And yeah, I think if Europe be free, everything it will be free.
Well, that was great. Everyone, thank you so much. I really, really enjoyed this conversation. I think it's been a great episode. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Ben. Thanks a million.
All right, so that was episode 85 of the Civil Fleet podcast. Thank you very, very much for listening. Thanks again to Mustafa, Bairbre and Louise for coming on the podcast, and for everyone involved in 50 Out of Many and the Mataris Sudan Solidarity Committee. Okay, at the end of the episode, I'd like to remind you to go check out the show notes. Every episode I make a ton of notes, and I don't know if anyone's checking them out, but anything that we mention in this podcast will probably be referenced in the show notes there, so go check them out. Also, go to our news blog, go to civilfleet.com and you can find news reports on there, some interviews and some investigative reports as well. So that's civilfleet.com. Also, if you like what the Civil Fleet is doing and you want to help us to continue to platform these amazing people, to continue to get the message out there about what's happening at the edges of Fortress Europe, then there's a couple of things you can do. You can tell your friends about us, you can share us on social media, you can give us 5-star ratings on podcast apps. You can also chuck us some money and make a small donation by going to ko-fi.com/civilfleet. And on there you can make a small donation and you'll get access to our bonus episode. Alright, I should have another episode before Christmas, before the end of the year. So check it out. Anyway, thank you so much to everyone and we'll see you soon. Cheers.